Hi, my name's Byron Martin here at Logis. Today we're going to be talking about the moth orchid or Phalaenopsis and how to repot them. In culturing Phalaenopsis, we grow them in containers rather than on trees, although they can be grown epiphytically on bark and such things in greenhouses and homes, but generally we pot them in a soil medium or a potting medium. And although there are many potting mediums that are used, my preference is actually sphagnum moss. This is a little bit denser than many orchid mixes, but it does have the ability to hold moisture a little bit longer and also doesn't break down as quickly. So plants can be left in those pots for actually many years without any difficulty to the root system. We also have other potting mixes. There's fir bark that has been used for a very long time. Particularly, I don't care for that because you can't actually see what the moisture level is in it. And we also have here coir. This is coconut fiber. This is a very good potting medium for most orchids. And it does actually have sort of a wicking nature to it, so you can actually see the moisture content on the top of the pot, much like you would any potted plant. So the rule of thumb in growing orchids, whatever the orchid is you need to have a healthy root system. And that is managed by two things. One, the watering that it's given, and the air and the health of the bark or the integrity of the potting medium. Here's some orchid roots that have been under some stress. Here's one right there. When we pull on them, the core comes out. Dead tissue there, the orchid root system is actually falling apart. The potting medium, it looks like it has had some stress on it, and so this orchid needs to be repotted. And one of the things you can do is, when you do repot them, is you always clear off all the old mix, clear it off completely, and we're left with the old root system. And oftentimes one would cut these old roots off. I always leave them on so they have something for the orchid potting mix to grab onto. This one here is still a smaller plant, so we're not going to upsize the pot on it. And we're going to use the sphagnum moss as a potting mix. With sphagnum moss, we're not going to pot it like we would soil, where we really tap it in. We're just going to kind of tuck it in so that the plant is actually grabbed by the potting mix, regardless of what it is, and it's not packed in really tight. So now we've got quite a bit of air there for the roots to grow in and thrive in. We have the media around it to hold the moisture. And one thing you want to do when you're growing any orchid is, when you get done potting, you don't want it to be loose and floppy. That's death to the orchid. So you want to be able to pick it up like that without it falling out of the pot. Generally, as far as pots go, I like clay because it dries them down quickly, makes you have to water a little more, but it does keep a healthier root system. However, today plastic pots are used for growing so many things, and orchids, including Phalaenopsis, can grow fine in them. Just have to remember to watch your watering. Thank you for watching this video on how to repot moth orchids. Hopefully it's helpful in your culture of this wonderful plant.